What's up, guys? Welcome to the NMRPC second video podcast of 2020. My name is Adrian Goudelet, and I am the president and founder of the New Mexico Rail Passengers Coalition, which is what NMRPC stands for. We got Alex.
Hey, my name is Alex Ramos. I am the vice president and treasurer of the New Mexico Rail Passengers Coalition, also a co-founder. Glad to be here today to do our second video cast. Woo!
Right now we are on the road, currently going on I-25. Can't wait to get on the road again. Right now we are passing the Rail Runner alignment, which goes up to Santa Fe. Fortunately, no Rail Runner, but we will discuss that later on in this video. Right now we are going to discuss some topics. Usually, pre-corona, we would actually have a big event, dignitaries, speakers, whatnot, but unfortunately this is the new world. So we're going to be bringing you guys more video podcasts like this. Without further ado, let's get into our list.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, here we go. We're talking about Amtrak's budget. In regards to the upcoming fiscal year, that's going to be starting with Amtrak. Amtrak is requesting a little more money than usual. I believe it's between $4.9 to $5.8 billion in regards to funding to help the long distance network, retain employees to stop furloughs, also help the Northeast Corridor, and overall in general the entire Amtrak network as a whole, including state-supported routes. As CEO William Flynn, aka Bill Flynn to some, has stated in a congressional hearing, a lot of these funds can be used to stop the proposed tri-weekly service that's supposed to be in effect in less than October 12th, right?
I thought it was October 1st. I think it was October 1st.
This is week of October 12th.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a little up in the air at the moment in regards to the official start date, but it's within 2 weeks from today's date. But with those funds, we look at it as a position of, is Amtrak really going to use those funds for the long distance network as they so promised? Because that is another reason why the NMRPC exists, is to help and maintain and preserve the long distance network through the great state of New Mexico and surrounding states as well. The $4.9 million, from what Mr. Flynn has stated, would be used for the long distance network as well. New locomotives, the HVAC and AC within the old coaches would be redone, as long as I guess more continuous support came in through Congress. Another thing mentioned by Mr. Flynn is also, what's the terminology when you're going to rip everything out?
Just start fresh.
No, you're keeping the shell there, the coach, but
yeah, it's like refurbishing, or you're gutting it. Really, they're going to gut and refurbish them.
Yeah, so that's more or less what Mr. Flynn was going with, is, in regards to that funding proposal or request to Congress that he was wanting. But other than that, we do support the method as to where those funds are going to go. But our only requirement, like I mentioned, is the Southwest Chief and other long distance routes west of Chicago do have to see some of the pie.
And that's the thing, is it's not like we don't care that, the Northeast Corridor, yeah, it makes up money, but it also transports a considerable number more of people. So it's not like they shouldn't have any money at all. With that amount of money, that's kind of Amtrak's bread and butter. But at the same rate, as we have said time and time again, is that Amtrak should be operated as a public service, not as a profiting airline. For more on that, we'll talk about essential air service, and that'll be another discussion for another time. But the point is that you can't just go where the population is, like that population center. There's a whole, several million other people that need to be served too, and that are already underserved. Barely a Greyhound service, barely, a train service once a day. It's at least something. But we don't have any airlines north of Santa Fe. We're passing through Santa Fe right now. This is the last major airport with any commercial air service until you reach Kansas City. Because I thought Topeka had air service, but it turns out it doesn't. So people who live from this point we're at right now forward, they have to either go down to Albuquerque or go up to Denver or go to like Farmington. There's not. Yeah, they call them flyover states, but it doesn't mean that nobody lives here. People live here. Millions of people live in this chief corridor, and they need to be served, and they need to be represented, and they need to be supported by the government that we have elected.
Well, on the final note, in regards to what Alex was saying, as with the NMRPC, and in my personal opinion, Amtrak has the great intention of expanding their network, because in a Zoom call with government affairs official or director, Mr. Ray Lang with Amtrak, he stated that if Amtrak doesn't expand, doesn't grow with the market, they don't, they just stay as a rock, not moving anywhere, they're going to be, not indisposed, useless, if you want to call it. But Anderson was a former CEO, Anderson of Amtrak, stated that he wanted to see more corridor routes, as he would call the sweet spot. Here at NMRPC, we're supportive of any type of rail expansion, but it has to be done right without sacrificing the long distance routes, which serve a unique purpose within themselves. Like an example, Colorado's doing the Front Range commuter rail or passenger rail region. Amtrak is being looked at to be the ones to operate that. Now, are you going to run a train from Denver to Albuquerque and then kill the chief? No. When the Santa Fe made this line, they had multiple trains running on this line plus freight, so the line can't handle this. Let's run the corridor train. By all means, let's do it. Denver to Albuquerque. All right, cool. We have the Southwest Chief. All right, there's more rail traffic on this line. Okay, maybe you want to do Cheyenne to Albuquerque. Cool. Even more opportunity. Maybe you guys want to do Cheyenne to Denver to Albuquerque to El Paso. Great. Now you just connected the Sunset Limited with the Chief, or the Chief to the California Zephyr. That's where I believe Amtrak's loss of, what's the word? They've lost their way when it comes to planning for the future, when it comes to that, in my opinion, personally. But
yeah, kind of short-sighted of them. But, I would consider myself a very unique case in this, but I know I'm not the only one in that how crucial the chief is for my transportation. Besides the fact being a bigger guy, it's much easier to travel on train when I don't have to worry about seatbelts and all that. I'm originally from Chicago, so I have family in Chicago. I have family in Topeka. I have family in Colorado. I have family I'm about to have family in Raton. And then I live out here. So the train is a vital life link between my whole family getting to each other in that same area, that same zone that doesn't receive any other service.
Well, and speaking of personal ties with the train, New Mexico has a lucrative and very awesome film industry that happens here, and I know for a fact, I've seen a couple of actors actually take the train. Spike Lee, he's one of them.
That's right, Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike Lee. Dan Aykroyd, he's another one that takes the train. Plus, he's a rail supporter.
Dan Aykroyd!
Personally, so...
Those brothers!
But yeah, no, what I'm trying to make a point here is most people are going to be like, oh, well, celebrity's rich. They only take the plane. Not all of them take planes. I work as an extra and a stand-in in the industry, and I've spoken to a few actors about this, and a lot of them see Amtrak as a way to avoid the paparazzi, avoid the press, because no one's not going to think, hey, Jason Momoa, Aquaman, he's on Amtrak, let's go, bother him over there. He can get his privacy.
Did Momoa ride Amtrak?
No.
Oh. Now you just got my hopes up for nothing.
No, but yeah, no, a lot of celebrities do take the Southwest Chief to Albuquerque to get to their film productions within our state of New Mexico. And plus, the Southwest Chief was featured on Netflix's series Longmire. Yeah. Oh yeah. So. Okay.
All right.
Next on our list, talking about Senate Amendment 2661. Here to bring you to that is Alex. I will slide you over.
So, Senate Amendment 2661 is coming up in a couple days. I really want to try to get this video out as soon as possible. Today's the 29th of September. I really want to try to get this out on I really want to try to get this out tomorrow, so that means I'll be doing a lot of editing tonight. Senate Amendment 2661 basically stipulates, it was brought to you by Senator Haynes of, I do not remember which state.
Montana.
Montana? Thank you. I was going to say Vermont, but okay. Vermontana. So Senator Haynes from Montana stipulating that there will be no reduction in service and there will be no furloughing or terminations of employees without cause until the next fiscal year, it says until the predetermined time in the House resolution, which usually just means the next fiscal year. So basically, the senator has 2 days to get everybody's butts in gear because it's going to happen October 1st. Today's the 29th. Call your senators. Tell them that you want to keep Senate Amendment 2661 of House Resolution 8337. It's just kind of like an omnibus bill, but this particular part pertains to the 2,000 jobs that are at stake in Amtrak, pertains to the $3.8 million in revenue that is brought to these flyover states, and everything around that. Because reduction in service is going to mean a reduction in jobs, not just along this line, but along all the lines. It's also going to be deferment in maintenance. It's also going to mean, and by the way, reduction in service isn't necessarily going to reduce the costs of operating this service. It won't. The costs are comparable to running a service 3 days a week as it is to 7 days a week. So they think they're going to save money, but they're really not going to, and it's going to reflect on their balance sheet next year if this goes through. If the status quo remains. So we should have 7-day-a-week service, because not only does it keep the people employed, not only does it keep the vital transportation link going, but they're really not going to lose a lot. They're not really going to lose a significant amount of money. It's negligible. So, Senate Amendment 2661. Today's the 29th of September as we recorded this. We have 2 days to get this bill passed. It needs to be on the president's desk by Friday.
Now, to add on to that, when we tell rail supporters, hey, contact your senators, contact your local officials, a lot of them, in this day and age, unfortunately, they have a similar tune. Well, is so-and-so going to listen? Is so-and-so going to do this? And so-and-so? You will not know until you try. Because right now, the Southwest Chief is living proof that advocacy is alive and real. Because the Southwest Chief would have been a footnote in history over 10 years ago if it wasn't for everyone that's watching this video, everyone that's on Friends of the Southwest Chief page, every rider who's ever ran Amtrak, and anyone who supports rail travel in general. You might not take the train, but you support train travel. It's because of everyone, including ourselves too. We all got together and said, no, this is not going to happen. And speaking with the amendment bills and HR resolutions, Senator Udall, Senator Heinrich, Senator Cory Gardner, Senator Jerry Moran, out of the chief states, and other senators also sponsored in I believe the 2019 transportation bill, which provided, more rail, you guys can't see it, but right now we're passing the Glorietta subdivision, and there's a little bit of a rail maintenance going on by rock supremacy. We'll get into that later. We'll talk details on this in a bit. But yeah, in the 2019 transportation bill, it was written in there with Amtrak explicit language that compelled Amtrak to give the money towards the Tiger Grant that was awarded to Colfax County, fund the Southwest Chief, and do not terminate the Southwest Chief in any form or truncate the route to make a bus bridge. It worked. So this could work now. And we believe in our hearts, it might be the 11th hour, but miracles can happen.
Now, I asked asked Adrian. Actually, I kind of want to bring this up. I asked Adrian because he's been lobbying a lot longer than I have. I've been a little more on the technical and background logistics side of things. I asked him one day. I said, how do you know if the senators and the congresspeople and the community leaders got our message? You call them up, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, we'll take your message. What's to say that we didn't just throw that piece of paper away? And I think Adrian made that point kind of clear, and I think it's important for people to understand that when you think at 300 million people your voice doesn't matter, that these senators and these congressmen, they log these phone calls, they log these emails. I don't know, I think you can describe it better.
Yeah, so anytime whenever you call into a congressional office, your governor's office, or your mayor's office, they have a log, and this log basically states a subject as to why you're calling. And at the end of every business day, those logs get forwarded to certain key staff members within the senator, congressman, or congresswoman's office, or governor's office, and then it ultimately gets forwarded to the governor, or senator, or congresswoman, or man, and they look it over. And they say, oh, wow, today we had 60% of our calls in support of the Southwest Chief. That shows them where the demand is. That shows them where they need to voice their opinions. I'm sorry to say it, but, we're probably going to have some persons on this video watching and say, well, they're just corrupt officials. The GOP hates Amtrak. The Republicans hate Amtrak. Oh, Democrats hate Republicans. That stops. Because, again, the Southwest Chief would not be here if it wasn't for Republican and Democrat making this a bipartisan issue, okay? Senator Jay Moran, he's a Republican out of Kansas. Senator Cory Gardner out of Colorado. They're one of the ones that actually voiced their opinion. Senator Gaines, who's supporting this recent amendment in Congress. Sorry, technical issue there.
Oh my God, really?
But Senator Gaines in Montana, he's a Republican as well. He's the one sponsoring this, so don't say that it's a one-sided issue. It's a two-sided issue on both ends of the political party.
That's not to say they won't. It's not to say that they still might not vote their heart. They might, or vote whatever money flows their way. But they listen, and they listen, and they will acknowledge. We may look like we're a professional organization. I think the entire organization for the Mexico Rail Passengers Coalition can be summed up in the front seat of a Nissan that's driving north towards Colorado right now.
But also, don't forget, we got our outside correspondent, Evan Steer, with Passenger Rail Kansas, who's also our contact within Kansas, so he's also considered NMRPC material as well. Right.
What I'm just saying is that two guys, and it came up in that last video, I think Evan was in, and those other people, in that one video you showed me, I wish I remember who it was, saying, yeah, they're just two guys who really love trains. I love that quote, but you know what? Two guys who really love trains are known by our Senator Heinrich and our Senator Udall and our governor, and they've called us, and they know us by name, and they know us by organization. Yeah, and Mayor Keller as well. We're just two guys. We're not even a official non-profit organization yet. We will be soon. I am putting my bets on that. But because we've talked, and because we've knocked on doors, and because we've driven across country, we're known. And we're just two people in the ballot count, in the ballot box. We are just two votes. That's all we are. But we are two very loud votes.
Oh yes. Just a little advice, sorry if I keep looking out the window. It's just raining out to my squirrel, mentality.
It's our moment. It's our the tracks to the left, to the right of us.
But a few professional tips when you guys are going to the senator or whoever government leader you're going to, or if you have a meeting with them in person. Maybe not now with Corona, but once we all get past this Corona stuff. Don't go dressed like how I am. A lot of times they don't take you seriously because you might be dressed as a rail nerd.
Good, at least I'm not the only one.
It's nice to go in there, dress professional. It's okay if you want to wear an Amtrak pin, be BNSF pin or just a little small little trinket of showing your support for the railroad. That's something I would really recommend anybody doing whenever they meet with somebody in a government agency. Make yourself look good. It's like a job interview. You gotta look good. All right, guys. Next on our list is track work and track work announcements. So let me take this off. A little hot here. All right. So the track work. What's going on? It's pretty interesting because, as a lot of you know,
how interesting is it?
A lot of you know, BNSF has not really invested too much money into the Raton and Glorieta subdivisions. One, because they don't run that much freight, and it's just Amtrak on here with the occasional freight train. But recently, some money has come about, and also BNSF. I know some rail fans are going to fight me on this, but I already have sources that tell me within Colfax County that BNSF is already putting some of their own funds at the moment for the year 2020 to fix the rail line between Levy, New Mexico and Dodge City, Kansas. And that is a plus in our book because, one, it shows BNSF is supportive of the long distance routes. They're supportive of keeping the Southwest Chief on its historic namesake route. And also it shows that we have a partner in this fight, which is BNSF. So shout out to you, BNSF, for being a good partner in this. But some of the track work ongoing. Unfortunately, we both missed some of the highlights here, but I'll run them through. We had 2 ballast trains and we had 2 tie trains come up from Kansas, and then 2 tie trains come up from Albuquerque to dump tie, and then the ballast is up north in regards to the route. And this is going to replace over 30,000 ties and also replace a lot of the rock and drainage that's needed. So, we're in a really good position here in regards to maintenance at the moment. Is it a long-term solution? No. Does the route need more infrastructure improvement? Yes. But for right now, we're in a better position than we were 10 years ago, and that's something I can live with, and that's something that I love to see. Just recently, Amtrak, BNSF, and the NMDOT just recently announced a huge rail project for the Raton and Glorieta subdivisions in regards to more tie work, rail work. This is going to be replacing a lot of the bolted rail or joint rail with welded rail, or continuous welded rail is what it's called. Replace some bridges from the Santa Fe days, replace quite a couple railroad grade crossings, fix some signals, and also fix more ballast. And then on the NMDOT, which is owned by the railroader, or the DOT who owns the railroad, I should say, which their authority ends at Lamy Depot. They're going to be fixing Devil's Throne, installing some rock slide detectors, installing welded rail, fixing the tie when it comes to that portion. Because when we were riding on the Chief back in May, I was telling Alex, I said, this is pretty rocky, and it was. So I'm really glad to hear that the NMDOT is going to be fixing that. But
I remember hearing stories as far back as I can remember riding the Chief about how the rocks would get within 11 inches of the train. I remember that number specifically. The rocks up in the Raton Pass would get within 11 inches of the train.
Yeah, and with the rocks, speaking of rocks, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Rock Supremacy, they're a group that does rock stabilization, dirt stabilization, and tunnel rehabilitation. They're going to be working from Lamy to Trinidad, Colorado, stabilizing the canyon walls, fixing rocks, also tunnel rehabilitation of the Raton Tunnel. So that's a lot of stuff ongoing, and it's going to take at least a year and a half to a year to get this done. So for those rail fans watching, the Chief is here. You're going to have some rail stuff. Come on out, enjoy the fun.
We noticed that BNSF has just been like putting gobs of money into the Raton Pass, and we're not sure why. Just saying, if you know anything, if you have your ear to the ground in certain circles about why BNSF is just pouring, well, relatively obscene amounts of money at BNSF. why BNSF is pouring what would relatively be obscene amounts of money into the Raton Pass. I am curious to know. Inquiring minds want to know, I think, is what my girlfriend says.
Well, maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong, but the thing is that there's only one reason that they're investing this much money, and especially rehabilitating the Raton Tunnel. It only leads to one summary. Maybe not now, but maybe later. Freight could be coming back at some point, but it's just a hunch.
They're building another Elon Musk Hyperloop from Denver to Albuquerque, or it'll be something like from Pueblo to Raton, something like that.
Well, that concludes the track work announcements and track work ongoing. I will bring it over to Alex. He's going to be talking about the rail runner, its progress, and any other information currently at the moment. Whoosh.
So currently, the rail not runner is not running.
On the rail.
On the rail. Actually, we did catch a PTC test train going by just before we started this podcast. So I doubt I got it on camera. It would have been on my dash cam. But anyway, yeah, it's been several months. We still have no planned opening date up for the rail runner. It's very unfortunate, but I believe in our governor's efforts are sincere to ensure that if and when we do reopen, we'll be in a healthier state. We'll be in a healthier state in a healthier state. But they have installed PTC along the entire route. The antennas are finished. The equipment on the trains is finished. They're running the PTC test trains. However, according to the APTA quarter 2 PTC results, the track work is complete, but none of the engineers have been trained. And there's 88 engineers and conductors and other linemen that need to be trained, and none of them have been yet. So I don't know if they're waiting on that. It's kind of hard because you want to kind of be fresh on your training when you start actual service. You don't want to train now and then they'll be like, oh, we're not going to open for another year and a half because of reasons, all sorts of reasons. So I don't have much information about why they're delaying on their training, but it's almost done. I mean, training won't take long. I don't know how long PTC training takes, but once they have a plan, I'm sure the government will release like some 30-day plan to resume operations, and when they do, the rail runner will be right there, ready to go.
All right. Next on our list is awareness and advocacy. We'll bring you over to that, Alex.
Awareness and advocacy. Are you aware that we're advocating? And you should advocate for us too. Right now, because Adrian and I both got new jobs, we've been kind of, the RPC has not gone away. It's not gone away by any stretch of the imagination. Kind of on the back burner as we kind of just stabilize and situate ourselves. One of the things I am doing is I'm going to have to close down the website for a few days because I want to look for a new web host. And I did a reach out a couple months ago for web designers, but unfortunately web design exceeds our budget, and our budget is, well, we don't really have a budget. We just have a few donations rolling in, and if you do wish to donate, I will leave a link right here at the bottom. And you're still welcome to donate. I am looking for a new web hosting service, and I just have to try and slap together. I haven't created websites in over 10 years. But when we do, I know we've been talking about having a membership program, having a donation, and having like a newsletter and all that, and we do want to do that. And if you want to help out with any of this kind of stuff, we would definitely appreciate it. If you know how to, maybe you know how to write a newsletter, or maybe you know how to, kind of, what's that, SEO, search engine optimization, and marketing, that kind of stuff, we could definitely use the help. Because as we try to expand, we definitely need people in different areas, because two guys can also only do so much.
Well, and speaking of you guys, not to toot our own horn here, but not every day you get to really see any grassroots organization, yet alone two gentlemen willing to travel halfway around the country just to say something on your behalf of saying, keep this train going, make sure it keeps you doing it through our photography, through our words, through us being there in action, through our vote. As much as, we would love an unlimited budget, we're being a little realistic here, but like Alex said, we rely on donations. So any donation that you can help with,
every penny counts. No joke.
Even $1 counts. Even 1 penny, it helps. Because
I thought you hate pennies.
I do. But, like today's trip, it's not being funded by any donation whatsoever. It's being funded solely out of our own paychecks. In regards to this endeavor, there's talk of us possibly going to Kansas next year to discuss any rail advocacy and whatnot. So that's ongoing at the moment. It's on our radar, but nothing official just yet. But yeah, just let you guys know, donations are what acceptable.
Sorry. Stay tupa. Anyway. So yeah, just help us spread the word if you don't mind. Help make a donation. Thank you for listening to this podcast. We've been posting pictures of this trip. We're on our way to, because we didn't talk about the Wig'ds or semaphores yet, did we?
No, that's actually going to be a VIP thing. You guys got to go to our social media to see that.
I don't have social media. What am I supposed to do? Wait, what is our social media anyway?
Dirt Lot Photography.
Southwest Railroad Photography.
AGAR Railroad Adventures. That is AGAR Railroad Adventures.
And above all else, the NM Rail Passengers Coalition. You can find us on Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on Twitter, and you can find all of us on Instagram as well. Yeah. So stay tuned for our pictures. Like I said, we're going up north to get more semaphore. And what the heck is your phone doing?
That's TBBS trains.
Oh, okay. Yeah, shout out to him. Talk about a great help, man. TBBS Trains, you are the man.
Yeah, so, let's just take this time out and do some shout-outs here.
Oh, we do love our shout-outs, don't we?
Yeah, let's do some shout-outs. So, as we just said, TBBS Trains, thank you, sir. We do appreciate your help in locating a lot of these trains. Otherwise it's shooting in the dark here, just relying on the radio and the dispatcher issuing track warrants. So thank you again, sir, for your kind help.
I want to give a shout out and many blessings and good luck wishes to Casey, one of the conductors on Amtrak. He's just got a brand new kid. He just got a brand new house, and we are doing our damnedest to make sure he's going to keep his job, along with 2,000 others. Everybody who works at Amtrak.
Shout out to the Amtrak Southwest Chief Crews out of the Albuquerque office. Without you guys, this route, honestly, you guys have the best route. Kingman to Albuquerque, Albuquerque to La Junta, that's like the best damn route. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a safe journey. We wouldn't have excellent porter service, good cooking, good food, good conductors, good ticket agents. So again, thank you guys for all your help. A few people to shout out: Engineer Clem, Engineer AJ Border, Deal, Esteban, AK Hollywood. Who else? Casey, Justin out of the Albuquerque ticket office.
Who's the other one? The one that lived down in down south, and they keep inviting us to their house. Klaus, there we go.
Yes,
Klaus and his wife. Yes. Yeah, you want to talk about an awesome conductor? We're going to talk about an awesome conductor who I'm not going to mention Adrian as a name, left their tripod behind on the train, and through our contacts and the good graces of these conductors and crewmen we know, was able to get his tripod back the next day. The last time we went to Raton. Yeah, I saw that. But that's what we mean. These guys are awesome. They are fantastic human beings. They're fantastic friends. we want to support them because we want them to have their jobs and their livelihoods as much as they want to watch us with cameras on the side of the tracks and all that.
I just tell them, I'm like, if you guys see us on the side of the tracks, just think of you guys as celebrities. We're the paparazzi.
Always a shout out to conductor Will. You are the man, the myth, the legend, always and forever.
Shout out to Santa Fe Southern Railway, who's also a supporter of ours. Lamy Depot and Cindy Lou, who's also another big supporter of ours. Shout out to all the station volunteers at the Lamy as well. Stephen, thank you, sir. We had a good conversation as well when we were in the depot that day.
I say a shout out to George R. R. Martin, the Oppenheimer, and I forgot the other person's name, who bought the Santa Fe Southern, and they're throwing gobs of money at it to revitalize it. I think you guys are just absolutely legends.
Shout out to Holland Rail Industries, who is also a big supporter of our work, mine and Alex's work as well, along with our coalition.
Maybe Martin should make a TV show based on the train called Game of Horns, battling trains or whatever.
So shout out to Holland for that. Also, shout out to BNSF Railway. Shout out to Amtrak as well. Anybody else?
Again, personal heartfelt shout out to our friends and our families who continue to stand by us and continue to support us and continue to enable and feed our insanity.
And as always, special shout out to my niece Ajay. Growing up, you're being a good rail fan, and I look forward to rail fanning with you when you're older.
If you ever watched the TV show, the kids show, There Goes a Train with Engineer Dave,
I can do that.
Ajay is watching it, which means another generation is being born into this and being bred into this.
Yeah, so when I'm long dead and gone, or I'm retired from photography, she will be the new Southwest Railroad photography.
All right, folks, this is Alex, this is Adrian. We're just somewhere between Santa Fe and Las Vegas, and we're gonna go up to Yonder, Colorado, and back. Definite shout out and thanks to our another big supporters of ours. We're gonna go to the Raton Pass Motor Inn.
Yes, shout out to the Raton Pass Motor Inn. Laurie, thank you guys. Thank you everyone out there for being your big support.
I look forward to staying another night with you guys.
Thank you guys.
And our favorite Chinese restaurant in Trinidad. You'll probably never watch this, but you guys are awesome too.
Yeah, you guys have badass food.
Love your egg drop soup with chicken. But all right, until next time, folks, thank you for watching our vidcast, the NMRPC vidcast number 2. And hopefully it will increase in frequency. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so if things go according to plan, we might have one Christmas, New Year. So
yeah, it's a plan. All right, until next time.
All right, hey, real quick, so you guys have a good day.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Wait. I'm just kidding.
Okay, now bye.
Bye.
Wait. Okay, bye.
Later.